Wow, perfect timing there. Thank you guys for joining me. Welcome back to Flight Simulator. Hey guys, Clumsy here. The sequence is all wrong. How is everyone doing? Bunky just dropped a 5 tier 1 sub. Is that the right way? Just dropped 5 subs for the people. Thanks a lot, Bunky. Glad you made it. Yes, indeed, we are flying with the Mooney today. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining. GG, man. Wow, that's perfect timing right there. Man, it's hot today. Whew. How is everybody doing? Thank you for joining. How are you, Tom? I see you're enjoying Pro Mods. Glad you managed to make that work, both for ATS and ETS2. Jay, glad you are holding the fort. Glad you're here. Thanks, Sonoma, for joining. Hey, Thaddeus. Have you gone into Flight Sim again recently? Tried out the Alaska bush trip? Simple Sim, if you're still here, thanks for joining. If you've left, then you won't hear this anyway. Who else? Hey, Patrick. How are you, man? Were you in Jack's stream? Sorry you couldn't drop by. Hunting ghosts, I think, right? How did it go? Yar blah, did you join Jack? Yeah, we're going to check Bus Simulator 21 when it's out. Although I think it's still next year, right? But yeah, they might have something. Well, I guess next year is pretty close, considering. Only popped in to say hi. Thanks for saying hi. And yeah, sorry I wouldn't be featuring OMSI anymore. I've gotten too frustrated with that game. Although arguably it's still the best bus hardcore simulator there. Hardcore bus simulator. Hey Tom, or Tomb. Always watch the VODs. Oh yeah, in UK, it's not a very convenient time. Thanks for making it today though. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Thaddeus, you got a sub? Nice, yeah. Who did we get as subs thanks to Bunky? Thaddeus, Blah, oh Blah became a sub. Snapshot, Supreme Boomer, and Janders. Thank you guys, welcome. Feel free to join the Discord. Exclamation point Discord gets you there. And you should get access to the Cool Kids Club channel as long as you're a sub. Let me see. Streaming on Christmas Day. I'll be streaming on the 24th. That's the 23rd for you guys in the US. 23rd night, and we'll be doing a convoy. So stay tuned for that. I am excited to do that. Still waiting for the new computer, Sonoma. Been on ATS and tip over Yukon. Tip over Yukon, what do you mean? Hunting ghosts, indeed. My pleasure, Toon. Definitely my pleasure. Glad you're enjoying it too. Flying both in MSFS and X-Plane. Nice. Doing lots of jobs in FSE. Sounds good, man. I might hop into X-Plane eventually again. I got a notification that my SSD, the one I ordered, the 2TB M.2 NVMe SSD, is coming on Saturday. I'll have to do a bit of installation again with that. And I'll have to remove the GPU because my M.2 slot is underneath the GPU itself. So we'll have to see. Hopefully it works. But yeah, after that's done, then I can install all the games that I have in my library. Well, not really all, but should be more free to choose because right now I'm very, very limited in what I can install. Yar, Jack, how was ghost hunting? Who do you gonna call? Still tipping over the trucks. Ah, yes, I got what you mean now. Still, yeah, same here, same here. Thanks, great to hear, Simple Sim. You should have access to the Cool Kids Club as well. some more exclusive stuff there. I share exclusive stuff there from time to time. Haven't shared much recently, but that should hopefully change. So as you guys can see in front of us, we have the Mooney, the Carenado Mooney M20R Ovation. I was planning on flying with this plane since like 2 weeks ago, but the latest, not really the latest, that patch which came with the world update for US borked the plane. It became a minefield. The wrong click anywhere, almost anywhere in the cockpit, leads you to a crash to the desktop. So it was, in all intents and purposes, unusable, unflyable. And there has been a huge commotion because people were complaining. Why are you still selling this plane if it doesn't work? You're just getting my money and it doesn't work. And eventually Microsoft got wind of the problems, so they put extra effort into it, so much so that they released a hotfix just a few hours ago. And yeah, finally it's working. I did a test flight. It seems to be free of any crash to desktop bugs now, so that's good. And I have a mod in addition, the GNS 530 mod, which works perfectly with this plane. I forgot who did it though, but it's in the exclamation, it's in the mods list. Exclamation point mods gets you there. Just make sure to activate the FS 2020 tab, so you get the FS 2020 mods and not the ETS2 ones. But yeah, there's a link there for all the mods I'm using. Thanks, Jay. Few more days till your birthday. Yeah, December 30. Excited? I am excited as well for the year end, for the holidays in particular. Love how I fly, feel the immersion. That's great to hear. That's the goal. So glad to hear that that is working for you too. Thanks for letting me know. It always helps. Right, let's get on to it. Now, yeah, that's one thing though. I'm not sure where we are starting from. I know which plane we're flying, the Mooney for sure, but I don't have really a clear flight plan. So we'll just fly and roam around. I mean, the purpose of this plane, why I bought it in the first place, I think it's what, 30 USD, something like that, 30. So yeah, definitely payware. And the goal, the objective, or the main purpose of this plane is for sightseeing, for enjoying the sights, especially with the world update in the US. So I was thinking of exploring somewhere in the US. We can start in Denver, for example. Explore to the west. You know, we tried that the last time and we didn't quite finish. So we can go with that. Or you guys can say maybe you want to explore Canada. We can start in Vancouver, for example. Check out, compare what ProMods Canada did and how it looks here in the sim. So ATS versus FS 2020 and how those vary. So we can also do that. One area I'd like to explore more of though definitely is the West Coast. Although it doesn't seem like the weather in the West Coast of the US is pretty good, at least in Washington. But yeah, we'll see. Yay! Yay! Goodness. Perfect. Does anyone know how long the cooldown on that is? Thankfully, there is an built-in cooldown. Otherwise, I would be jumping out of my seat every single time. Nice video on the latitude. Yeah, glad you enjoyed. I really enjoyed that flight. The longitude is definitely one of the up-and-coming planes in my radar. The fixes, the updates are getting to that point where the planes are becoming flyable. Which arguably should have been that way in the first place, but you know, we all have to start somewhere, so it's great progress. It's also a speedy plane, yeah, definitely, yeah. It's nice with steam gauges and everything. We'll see, but let's decide where we start. So let's decide Denver or Vancouver. Let's get a quick look at the votes, the messages. We got an emote. Oh, thanks, Gamaste. 9 months, 5 month streak. Appreciate that, man. Oh, what is that? anime looking emote. How are you doing, Gabeste? You were shocked that I'm not checking out the London add-on. Well, you probably haven't seen any OMSI videos in the past years, so I'm not sure why you would be shocked about OMSI. But yeah, OMSI is... we are done. Unless there is like a huge update in OMSI that changes the gameplay, makes it stable, updates the graphics, or something along that level. Otherwise, it's too unstable for me. You're a very jumpy person also. I think anyone would jump with that, yay. Miami, Vancouver. Alright, looks like Vancouver is getting a lot of votes. We'll start there then. Now, the IKEA code for Vancouver. Charlie Yankee, Victor Romeo, as far as I remember. There you go. Now, the winds here in Vancouver. Let's have a look at Little Nav map. Is it consistent winds? No wind, it says. So we'll see. But let's start off somewhere in the middle, maybe. All of these are gates. Let's start with the ramp. GA small, that one. Okay, there. Perfect. It does seem like it's raining. Yikes. 3 p.m. We'll adjust the time later as needed, but right now it's 3 p.m. That should be okay. It shouldn't be that bad in terms of daylight. And if it does get dark, then we get a nice sight of a little bit of sightseeing, right? Can we go to Russia? If anyone knows it like the back of their hand, why not? Let's turn off the preview here. Ooh, Sonoma has a flight plan there. We plug those in. That might be nice. Charlie Yankee Lima Whiskey. That's Kelowna. Let's add that to the flight plan. And then Charlie Yankee Kilo Alpha. Kamloops. Oh, these are all the cities in Pro Mods Canada, huh? At least the major ones. Charlie Yankee Charlie. Calgary. That one is not yet there. Probably not the best weather for sightseeing. Crap. Yeah. Okay. So based on the airports that Sonoma gave us, that this is how it will look like. So we're starting off in the southwest corner of Canada in Vancouver. We can go and head on straight to Kelowna. I might need to change the weather though. Top of descent, that should be good. Guess good with that flight plan? Or do you want to go south towards Washington or Seattle? Although in Seattle, the weather, you can see the red icons there. That means it's IFR. That means the weather is bad in one way or another. How are the winds like? Winds are pretty calm. We can use 26 left, I think. Yeah, that's the closest runway for us. Cooldown time is broadcaster set. There must be a default value then. Nice. I wonder what the default value is. Whichever it is, I am thankful for that. Southern Oregon and Northern California coast is nice. That is pretty promising. That's the one I actually want. Because I would like to check out the updates in the world update in the US. See how this plane works for you. We'll see. Because what it is, if that makes sense. Because it's a simulator. Yeah, I guess. I guess I get where you're coming from. But yeah, just to clarify, no plans for OMSI in the immediate future. I wonder when I did last OMSI. I actually got curious. 2016, 2017 maybe. Change the weather as all our mountains. Yeah, let's play with the weather. Deso. That's how the plane looks like. How beautiful that looks, right? This is why I bought it, because of all these steam gauges. Super old school. And then you have the GNS 530 there. That's indicative that the mod is active, although I guess that should be turned off initially. Yeah. All well and good. Okay, so let's play with the weather. This is really going to cut it. If we go with clear skies, not going to be pretty exciting. Few clouds could work. That way we could do VFR. Scattered might be a bit too thick for us. How about snow? Anyone want snow? Then we can maybe lessen the aerosol density. That doesn't look good, does it? It looks cool that there's snow. It does still sound like rain though. Temperature is currently 9 degrees here in the airport in reality. Still like to see some of the new updates. Yeah, same here. Yeah, let's probably explore a bit of Canada, but let's go south. No lib rain for Vulcan. Oh, really? It's been a while, huh? Would have expected that would be compatible by now. Hardly ever snows in Vancouver. Ah, good to know. Oh, that looks lovely. Let's go with a few clouds. And because we put snow in, look at the beautiful reflections on the ground there. So nice, doesn't it? Just right after it rained, that the ground is still wet. Cool stuff. November 3058 whiskey. You prefer the rain IFR? Yeah, we can do IFR next time probably, but probably let's start with VFR first. Now, how do you start this plane? That's a good question. Highway through hell. I think so. I think that's what we tried the first time we checked out Promotes Canada. Is that the Smasher or is that a different one? Set the timer extension. Well, I didn't do anything like that, so I guess there must be a default value somewhere. So I'm thankful. I just picked the sound and it put in something by default, I guess. Okay. So let me try and remember. I do have a checklist here. So some basic documents comes with Carenado. Normal procedures. You have some V-speeds. It's not study level, which actually is a benefit in my case because I'm not looking for a study level plane right now. For sightseeing, I would like something that gives me a good vibe, a good feel of a classic plane, but not too hardcore that I don't get to enjoy my sceneries anymore. So this is actually just a perfect balance between having something realistic enough but not too real that it bogs you down with the details. Alright, so let's follow this one. Throttle, propeller, mixture, master switch. Before the update, see that blinking light, that master caution warning? Once you acknowledge that, crash the desktop. Open the window, crash to desktop. Open the door, crash to desktop. Fiddle with any of these settings, crash to desktop. You get the picture. So you can imagine why the people are getting so frustrated. But I am happy that it got fixed now. That's the Smasher. Okay, I see. Gave you a mic by the window, this one. Yeah, I wonder what this is. I don't know. You can sing karaoke. But this is so cool. So if you didn't notice, you can actually hear a bit more of the exterior when you open the window, which is beautiful as you start the engine because the engine sounds absolutely fantastic. The sounds in this plane, you can tell already just by clicking. It is much more immersive than the default ones. And when you start the engine, doesn't that sound lovely? And you can close the windows to mute it out a bit or open that. Super cool. Fuel truck sounded better than the SCST one. Oh no. Turn on the avionics. That should initialize. You can see the actual version of the mod right here, 1.0.18. And then that's how the mod looks like. It has a track up instead of the north up. You can also change that in the settings. It has a weather mode, so you see the precipitation and all that stuff. It has a terrain mode, which will be very beneficial later as we go to the clouds or the mountains, and then we can check out the different features later on. Mean sea level, it is not very accurate though. Let's at least put that in here. Temperature MSL right now, Vancouver is nearly sea level anyway, so let's just copy that 1 to 1, 9 degrees. Yeah, like that. You can see the temperature reflecting in there as well, outside air temperature. With the doors open, that's a good point actually. It actually turns into a black screen if you are flying already at a fast speed and you open the door suddenly or open the window suddenly, you get a black screen. Because when the plane crashes, when something bad happens in Flight Sim 2020, the screen goes black, right? So that's what that's the best it can do for now. 262 on the heading. Let's put that in the heading bug so we have a bit of indication. Yeah, great sounds. You can even close the windows. I know, right? Very nice sounds, definitely. Then all the indications are here. Let's turn on the elevator trim. Did I miss something? I hope not. Takeoff trim is set. And then the wing flaps are here as well. So put that to take off notch there. This plane, even though it has like steam gauges and everything, it's super fast. So much so that it has its own speed brakes. When you turn on those speed brakes, you really slow down. It's a very effective tool. Because when you're doing the descent and when you're approaching the airport where you're landing at, oftentimes you'll be super fast. You'll want to slow down a bit so you can extend flaps and stuff like that. Right, but for now, let's go and enjoy. Release the parking brake. I should actually have turned on the beacon lights. Let's turn on the taxi lights here. Does anyone know what the recog lights are for? You can also change the lighting for the panel or get some floodlights in. It is very, very good. And you get immediate feedback from all these dials. No glass cockpit delay or whatnot. Crashes need to be more curable. Yeah, the crashes need to be simulated, right? The failures. The taxiing is also much more responsive. The rudder control, very different from like the TDM, the default planes. So you can really taxi well on the ground. Although it does take a bit of getting used to. So I'm using my rudder pedals here for taxiing. Yeah, exactly, Bunky. Definitely agree. The feel of the rudder as you move the pedals and how the plane reacts, it's very realistic. Well, I wouldn't say realistic because I wouldn't have a real life comparison, but it feels very natural. Let me see if I missed some other messages. I think we're good. Concert in California, Coquihalla. The highway? Why is that? Let's plug in some VORs in here. There should be a VOR here somewhere. 115.9. Slow down, slow down. So when it gets too noisy, you can always close the windows. And that becomes a much more muted sound, which is going to be very helpful, especially as we take off here, because we'll be going full throttle here. Nav, strobes, landing lights, taxi lights off. Of course, that would be clear. I don't have any traffic on. But just double check. Yeah. Winds are pretty much calm. Good. Beautiful. Just maybe plug in. Well, we'll worry about it later. I hope I didn't miss anything. We'll see. Yeah, even with the windows closed, the sound is significant. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots will be our rotation speed as far as I remember. There we go. 80 knots. Beautiful. At the brakes, positive rate gear up. Gears are up. There's Vancouver International on our right. Lots of mountains all over the place. Beautiful. We'll probably climb to around, let's say 2,000. Manifold pressure, let's lower that to around 24 inches. So we have that steady climb. I'm going to hand fly it for now just to get a feel for it. RPM probably can go to 2400. I don't really know the exact steps here. Oh, we should be able to set our flaps up as well. I'm not very familiar with the procedures on this plane, especially with the landing. The landing on this plane is quite strange, quite different. I think it's like pitched up a bit normally, so it's quite harder to land because it's harder to see the runway below you. But we'll get to know that later on. Look how fast we're going already. 100, what is that? 130 knots? Yeah, 130 knots. And we're still climbing. Let's get to 2,000 feet here. Let's get to the mountains a bit. Let's get closer. Just see how it looks. I do want to explore Vancouver, but I'm not sure where it is. I think I'll need the map in bigger size here. One sec, huh? Bear with me. Vancouver should be straight up ahead. This should be the one we're seeing right now. Maybe 2300. Go. Okay, 2000. Slow down here. There it is, Vancouver, exactly. No, I'm not on that sim. It will be too much for me to handle. Getting familiar with the plane and handling controllers at the same time. It will be too much for my brain. I have to get familiar with this one first. It does feel a bit like sensitive. Oh. Just testing. Oh, look at that. Look at all those buildings. It's very hard to slow this plane down. Look at how our speeds here. I have dialed down the RPM and the throttle, but we are still at the edge. 170 knots still. And we're still climbing. So I think I'll really have to tone down the throttle probably. Can anyone recognize any of the buildings? Ooh, that's loud. Is that the bridge that we went on in Bromons, Canada? Maybe, huh? That looks familiar. Now how about that stadium, guys? That looks pretty significant. Very nice. The frame rate is actually not bad here. And this is also what's another great thing about this plane. Because it has steam gauges, the FPS hit is minimal. You don't have that normal problem with glass panels and the CPU limitations. So normally your GPU can stretch its legs more. It's a train yard right there. Hockey! Is that a hockey stadium? Oh, that would make sense, huh? Cool. I do want to see... Where is that? The highway... How do you call it again? Transcontinental or something, Highway 1? Stick with Highway 1. Should be on our left here. Let's see if we can recognize it from above, from 2,000 feet up. Trans-Canada Highway, there we go. Trans-Canada. I remember it's TC, but I can't remember what the C was for. The volume of the engine, is it just right? I did lower it. I think it's at 40% right now. So otherwise it might get a bit too loud. And at this level, we should be able to maybe get the lean of peak. It's so easy as well to play with the mixture here because you get all these numbers on the cockpit. So that 1332, that's the EGT. That's what we're looking at when we're trying to lean the mixture. So for example, let me level out here first. If I pull on the mixture knob, that red knob, I'm pulling on it, you can see the EGT climbing, 1360, 1370. That's going to climb all the way as I pull, and it will reach a peak at there for 1551. And then I pull more, and that goes lower, so we reach the lean of peak. So I'm going to put it at 50 degrees Fahrenheit lower than the peak, which is around 1401. That should be good enough. So we're now on lean of peak, and this should be very fuel economical, very healthy for the engine, supposedly. Right, where is TCH1? It should be right below us. You guys saw it? Almost forgot about Broadband, Canada. Oh yeah, it's a great map there. So TCH1, yeah, it should be right below us. Oh, there it is. There it is. Definitely feels like a full-blown city. Although I don't think there are specific landmarks except for that stadium. But it should give you the general vibe. Anyone from around these parts? Is it snowing here? I guess Yeah, you guys told me it doesn't snow here often. Right now, how does it look? Still green and everything like this? Should we have some orange trees from fall? Yeah, looks like a massive highway system right there. I think, is this, yeah, we should be actually, oh sorry, should be actually seeing the, maybe we can pass through the Smasher. Where is that? I think it won't be anytime close yet. Was it Highway 5 or something? Past Hope, right? Yeah, Past Hope. Let's explore this a bit. Let's follow the Highway 1. Sorry guys, I'm a bit unstable and flying, multitasking. Trans-Canada directly off your nose, indeed. You, just raining today. Okay, mountains should be snow-capped at least. Well, they are cloud-capped. Yeah, there's a bit of snow there, that's true. Yeah, should be close enough, I guess, huh? Nice. And it is raining there, so the weather that we got initially was actually pretty accurate. That's great to hear. Right. So let me go to the right here a bit so we can get a better view of the highway. That should be right in front of us, that one. Right there. Maybe it would be nicer if we could get closer to the action though. It would be a bit more scenic. Let's maybe descend to 1500 and let's test out the autopilot. Before, when you click these knobs, it would actually cause your sim to crash. Now I think it's working so far. So 1500, let's go. Adjust the heading knob first. Let's go to heading mode, flight director on, heading mode, autopilot on, and then let's arm that altitude. So what happens is we set 1500 and we click the arm button. That will make us descend or climb depending on the altitude we wanted at 500 feet per minute. And if we wanted to change that, we can pull this knob here. No. Pull this knob here. It's kind of hard to click though. And then there you go. And then we can change the feet per minute, making it a bit more steep. And you can see the vertical speed also adjusting. And then you can push back the knob. There. So that should descend at 1,000 feet per minute until we get to that target altitude. Oh, where's the highway? Should be on our left. I think I chose the wrong one as well. Heading mode should be. There you go. Now it's following the heading bug. Weather was definitely accurate. Nice. Red like sewer cap thing. This is the fuel selector. So right now we're using the left tank. But we have to keep a look at it because where is it? Yeah, left fuel 21 gallons, right fuel 24. So eventually we switch that from time to time. So that we are balancing the plane. So I think when they are doing that, they are turning on the boost pump. See that humming, hear that humming, and then just switch the tanks to the right one. Then turn off the boost pump. And that would consume the fuel from the right tank instead. That should help. Right, 1500, where's Highway 1? Is spotted. Autopilot is much more convenient, but it's not so immersive anymore. I'd have to change it back again. Let's look for the lean of peak here again. 1450, 1401. And it even has all these things here. So it has the EGT and I think the CHT there, and one for each cylinder. So the engine here, the piston engine in this plane has 6 cylinders, so you see the different temperatures per cylinder. You see the dot there, it's cycling through, and you see the numbers changing because that says, okay, where the dot is, that cylinder number, these are the temps for that particular cylinder. I'm not sure if that has any functional impact, because normally you would only just look at the EGT here anyway, which is probably the highest one out of all the cylinders. Yeah, the cylinder 1 looks like it's the hottest at the moment. And so that's what gets logged here. Cool. We pass through Highway 1 again, just dancing in and out of it. I hardly can see it though. I think it's that one on the right. Does it feel like the Pro Mods Canada that we've been driving in? Not so much yet, is it? I guess because looking at it from 1,000, 2,000 feet above really changes your perspective. Although I do see the mountains all over. So that might be it. Let's have a look outside. Man, it does get loud. Highway should be right below us. I think it's that one. I think the challenge with this highway is it's not really like an interstate that's beefy all the time, right? I think if I remember what you guys told me, depending on the area, the Highway 1 can get a bit smaller, can be a bit more compact. So that one, yeah, looks like a huge aisle there in the middle. But that definitely still looks like a highway, so we should be able to just trace that. IFR, I follow roads. Four lanes until Hope. So is that 4 lanes per side or on both? I think we can step it up here a bit. 21 inches on the manifold pressure. Find the lean of peak again. 1550, so around 1500. Lean of peak, nice. So easy to find the lean of peak with this kind of setting. So good. Airport in front of us is CYXX. Ah, yeah, I see it. Abbotsford. In real life, Abbotsford should have very bad weather right now. It's in IFR conditions. Thankfully, we can get away from that by choosing a preset weather. Beautiful. Close enough, close enough. You can even see the fuel flow in here. But yeah, I really bought this plane for the purpose of sightseeing. So glad to see that we can finally do that. Man, this place looks so nice. I can imagine when you're on the road, and granted the weather isn't that bad, you should have a full view of the mountains all over, like whether you're facing the east like us, or yeah, if we look around, basically everywhere to the north, from the west, north, and then east, filled with mountains. Let's fly over this airport. Should we do a touch and go? I'm a bit scared because I don't know how. I'd have to read up on it first. Yeah, maybe in the next airport I'll have to read up on it first. Let me see. Descent. Probably not reassuring for a pilot to say that, huh? We'll figure out how to land when we get there. Get closer. Let's look at it from outside. Once again. There it is, nothing fancy in the airport. Does have 2 runways though. Cool. If you open the window, it would feel so cold and your ears will get stuffed due to the low air pressure. Ah. That would make sense. Although this, would that be true even if the cabin isn't pressurized? Because yeah, I don't think this is pressurized at all. But still, it should like come seeping in. You can kind of hear something passing through a bit though, which is nice. Nice attention to detail. Alright, let's turn to the left here. We're getting close to some mountains. If we go here on like the terrain mode, that can get scary quickly. That one? Yeah, there you go. So you'll see where you are bound to hit something based on the colors. Which is going to be perfect when you're traversing through some mountains. Even at 1,000 feet starts happening. I see. Yeah. Unfortunately, the sim doesn't simulate that. It just goes to black screen. I think there's a note here somewhere. Is it this one? Do not slam door. I remember there is something here. Don't open past 130 knots or something. Landing lights should be able to turn that off. That should be the road right there, I think. This white line here should be Highway 1. And we see it right in front of us as well. Okay, that's good. Let's keep on it. Let's see. So we should recognize immediately the smasher, right? Once we go past Hope, we should see so from Highway 1, there should be a road branching to the left, which is Highway 5, I think. And we should see that highway really escalating, going uphill. And we might have to climb in turn as well. So we'll see if that is properly simulated here. Engine failure, probably let's try to land normally first. And if we get the hang of that, then we can introduce some special scenarios. But at the moment, even everything running correctly, I don't even know how to do that yet. So one step at a time. Let me see. During descent, adjust and secure seatbelts, flaps up, landing gear up, throttle, CHT in green. Okay. Mixture, peak EGT. Okay. Airspeed as desired. Okay, makes sense. Approach for landing. Landing gear extend below 140 knots. 140 is somewhere there. Okay, that's pretty easy. That should slow us down significantly when we extend the landing gear. And then we can check if the gear is down by looking at the indicator. It's blocking itself, but if I look there, it's a gear down indicator that is being hidden by the compass. And yeah, the compass as well has a nice attention to detail. I think on the ground it kind of even shakes a bit. gives you that feeling that it's not 100% accurate. There's a bit of, I don't know how we call it, but it looks very realistic. Let's see, mixture full rich, prop high RPM on final, boost pump off, fuel selector fullest tank, wing flaps takeoff position, then full down below 110 knots. Okay, so when we extend our landing gear at 140 knots, we can also extend our flaps on takeoff, the takeoff position. And then once we get to 110 knots, which is indicated by the speed tape, we can extend to the full flaps. And from there, it's the basic landing, although at a bit of a different pitch, I think. Okay, sounds basic enough, but most likely, as with anything, easier said than done. Okay, Highway 1 is turning here. Hope as a 5,000 foot grass runway if you're tempted. Boeing landed a 737 there many years ago. Wow, is that possible? Must be has had some strong headwinds to make that work. You have no hope. It's a good practice to have a little bit of it. Hey Geek Squad, how are you, man? What have you been busy with these days? ATS? Oh my goodness, guys, I've been enjoying ATS so much. I've been driving for hours yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. I'm really enjoying the what they call this, the JBX and Frosty Mod combo. So good. Alright, there is an airport here. 4,000 feet should be more than enough. Let's see, we can probably like do a downwind, join the downwind leg. Elevation is 32 feet, so we should be right on the, almost on the pattern altitude. Let's try that. Let's test our skills, or lack thereof. Okay, airport should be right in front of us. Or right there. Okay, nice. Let's turn off the autopilot. Right. Slow it down. Ow, ow. 07. That would get us to the downwind leg properly. I am climbing though, I'm all over the place. 1 second, let me just stabilize here. Alright. Airport should be on our left. Oh, that one, that's too close, my goodness. Yeah, that's too close. Would have no chance of getting to that. This rate, there you go. Below 140 knots, extend the landing gear. Should get that green. Yeah, on the gear down indication. Can go 1 notch of flaps as well to slow us down even further. 0725 will be the runway that we are targeting. Somewhere like that. Yeah, that should be okay. Slow it down even more. We are within the 110 knot range already, so we can extend to full flaps. Oh, actually there are 3 notches of flaps here. Nice. There you go. That should slow us down properly. Stern base here. Now I can't remember what our approach speed should be. That might be a very important thing to know before you land, huh? Crap. I don't know. It's good to experiment, but... One second. Where's the airport, guys? Oh, on the left. You can see. Normal approach is 80 knots. Okay, good. Landing lights on. Not the most stable approach, I know. Bear with me. Mixture, RPM, full. Let's do a Gumps checklist. What is G? G is not for gear. I forgot. Gas on the fullest tank. Okay, 21 gallons for both. Undercarriage. Landing light. Landing gear is down. Mixture. Propeller. What is S? Switch. And the landing lights are on. Okay, that looks good. Oh my goodness, this is very wobbly. This plane is super sensitive. And we are super fast. This plane doesn't really want to slow down. I'm almost at idle here. 80 knots, that's the one. Sitting pretty low. There you go. This looks good enough. That looks weird, right? Feels very weird landing this plane. I think it's a bit pitch up by default. Oh, that's pretty harsh. Slow that down. Oh, I'll take that. We could have probably made that a bit smoother. I'll take it. Take off. Touch down. No. There you go. Okay. Not too bad for a first landing. But we can definitely do better next time. Tap brakes, gear up. And we can go flaps up as well. Super sensitive. Let's not go there. Trucking and flying, loving the Cascadia. Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Absolutely loving that plane. That truck. Mixing my terms here now. Okay, let's climb back up to 2000. And look for the smasher, and then we can proceed south. Just going to hand fly this for the moment. Greenland would be an awesome place to fly. I know nothing about Greenland. What do you expect we'll see there? Ring of Fire, where is that? Oh, nice. You can see the terrain changing there, the colors changing very subtly. Wow. There you go, 1,000 feet per minute. I'm just not sure where we are in relation to Highway 1. Okay, Highway 1 should be on our right side. I think it's this one. Check, guys, sorry, it's a bit shaky. Between Africa and South America, volcanoes, oh no. Volcanoes are my weakness. That's Highway 1, supposedly. Stay at 2,000 feet. Might need to tweak my sensitivity settings with this plane. The yoke, the pitch and roll feel very different from other planes. Same as how the rudder feels very different. Yeah, the flight controls in general feel very different, which is I think a good thing, but it does take some getting used to. is Hope. We go past Hope already, guys? Does anyone know? Oh, I think no, Hope is still up ahead. Alright, let's follow it. Now this should be nice. Should have the mountains to our left and right. You can also follow the river on your left to Hope. That's actually better. That's easier. Yeah, the river looks like it goes the same way as Highway 1. Perfect, thank you. That's easier to spot. Stay at 2,000 feet here. Maybe 21 inches on the manifold pressure. Okay. Find that level flight. Trim it properly. Something like so. Let's find the lean of peak. So 40, 15, wow, goes pretty hot. 15, 60, it's around 15, 10. There you go. Lean of peak. It might actually be nicer if we... Oh, but it's nice. The sunset is very nice. Oh, beautiful. It's noisy though. Yeah, I have the winter mod as well. I haven't enabled the heavy snow add-on yet though. I like the contrast of having snow on the sides but still having a black or gray roads on in the middle, simulating like there's a what do you call it? They sprayed salt on the roads to clear out the snow. I like the contrast of the colors like that. Because when I enable the heavy winter mod, everything is white, right? Which is probably more realistic. So we'll probably switch to that in a later date, maybe end of December. Does anyone know if Truckers MP and ATS already has the winter mod enabled? You guys want to try a test convoy on Friday? For those who missed it, we'll be doing a convoy on the 24th of December. Well, 23rd for US folks. Usual time, so that would be 7 p.m. Eastern. But on the 23rd, which is Wednesday night. For those in the US. For those in Europe, that would be Thursday, 1 a.m. So, not the most convenient time. I've gotten requests, I think it was from Scan, about a convoy, but more European friendly time zone. So we might do that as well the following week, but no clear view there yet. The one that's sure is on the 23rd for US folks, and we'll be playing ATS. Maybe if I can squeeze in one more convoy the following week, maybe we can do it on ETS too and have it more European friendly time zone. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to finding that magic combo yet. Never played the truck sim. You have to put chains on. That would be great if you needed, but yeah, right now it's not very well simulated yet for snow. Actually, the snow is just a mod. It's not yet built in the game itself. So let's switch tanks here. I love the sounds on this plane. Beautiful. Right. Let me hand fly it. But let me also properly set the correct altitude. 2,000 feet. No. It's very hard to use the mouse here. I wonder if that works with shortcut keys. No, it doesn't. I'll have to find a way to do that easier. so if I arm that, there you go, that should work, because I'm at 2000 exactly. The MPS Pro mode's kind of working, yeah, all the servers. I'm actually surprised with that. So yeah, has anyone played ATS MP recently? Is the snow mod enabled already? I think the last time I checked, it still hasn't added the snow in there. Hopefully by the time we do the convoy, snow will be put in place. Oh, look at the terrain on the left and right sides, guys. We are right in the middle of the mountains. This is more the landscape I'm expecting. This is nice. Actually, you know what? Let's change the time. Make it more scenic in a way. Oh, lovely. Look at that. It's different shades of the mountains. Yeah. The sim will freeze a bit though whenever you change the time the first time. I don't quite know why, but yeah, let's just wait for it. It will fix itself after a bit. Oh, that's longer than normal. I hope it fixes itself. There you go. First few times I got scared, but now I'm used to it. Man, yeah, imagine being on the road here. Actually, for Sonoma, you doesn't even have to imagine. This is really how nice it looks, right? Beautiful. That's the one. That's the one. Nice. Yeah, they added brake checks. That is super cool. No one else has done that before, not even SES. It's a nice addition. You actually have to pull over and stop. Have your brakes checked. Nice. Yeah, that's great, Geek Squad. Hopefully. You forgot your bag in Vancouver. Okay, I'm slowly getting used to the controls now. I can fly level more or less. Always still a bit of fiddling around with the controls, but yeah, getting a bit more the hang of it. And it's harder when you have mountains like this all over where you're looking. You actually don't get a view of the horizon, so it's hard. Normally you have an idea how far your nose is away from the horizon, and that indicates that you're flying level. But with this, you don't have a view of where the horizon is, so you really have to look and rely on the instruments. A bit more challenging, but worth it for the views. So this is Hope, and Highway 1 actually turns to the left, I think. Yeah, but the Coquihalla Highway goes straight through here. This is Highway 3, and you can see it is climbing up ever so subtly. You can see it's green there, so we'll have to climb up ourselves. So let me push on the throttle here. Let's get to 24 inches, 2400. Let's climb up. Let's go Ridge of Peak here. Two-hour drive from Vancouver. I see. Yeah, I really have to climb here, but that's good. Should be able to easily do so. Highway 5 is right below us supposedly, and it should be winding all over the place. That I think is that one. Yeah. So this is the, how they call it again, Coke Highway, the Smasher. That might be that small thing there. That small gap there would be the highway. 3,500. Let's climb to 3,500. There we go. Should be good enough, I think. There it is. This feels like Star Wars now. Squeezing ourselves in the Death Star. Let me get the enough peak here. 1490, so around 1440. There you go. There it is. There it is. Yeah, that's super steep. No wonder we were struggling so much in climbing through here. TBM 930, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Still my favorite plane overall. I do want to mix it up every now and then, but yeah, I will always go back to the TBM. 3,500 please, thank you. Yeah, it does have snow-capped mountains, on some of them at least. Is getting pretty windy here from all the updrafts from the mountains. Man, this terrain radar is super useful, isn't it? Gives you a clear view where the roads are and where you can squeeze yourself into. Let's have a look outside. Might get a bit noisy, guys. Oh, there it is. Cool looking. Man, that sight. Beautiful. Oh, no. That's the problem when you stop looking at your instruments. If you enjoy sightseeing too much. 3,000 should be good enough, I think. Although the roads are climbing continuously. So at that point up ahead, you can see it starts turning green. So we're getting too close to the ground there. I think what is green? I think 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet maybe away from the ground. Might be it. So we might have to climb further later. Will continue all the way through until Merit. So just climbing. If you zoom out here on the map, you can see everything is red. So I really have to continuously climb as well. But yeah, let's climb all over the mountains here. Give it a proper view from up above. Let's do that. So 2,400. Good. Let's let the autopilot take us there. What would be the top of these mountains, do you think? Let me see. So if I do that, that's where we are. So we've been tracing Highway 1 mostly. And if I enable the, what is this, MORA? Minimum en route altitude, something like that. 11,100 would be the safe altitude in this cell here, this region here. So let's go there. Let's go to 13,000 feet. Why not? Ooh, that looks scary. It's probably not where I want to go. Turn right here. So what we can do is set 13,000 in here in the altitude. Selector. Adjust the heading bug so that we're facing exactly like here. Go to autopilot, turn that, There you go. That should work, I think. Thankfully, it's a very powerful plane, so I can just push it. Actually, we can climb steeper. I think 2,000 feet per minute is manageable in this case. Just so hard to click though, if you want to VS it out. What did I just click? Other trim. No. There you go, 2,000 feet per minute. -4 degrees outside. Road tops out at 1,200 meters. For the road itself. I see. Now, why does the heading bug not follow? Should be turning right now. Strange. There you go, that does work. Maybe it's one of those autopilot problems. But yeah, if you look at the terrain up ahead, should be no risk anymore. Except for that part. So yeah, it looks like we don't have to worry about it so much. Let's go level off here at 8,000. There should be an altitude hold here. There you go, 8,000 feet. That should be more than enough for sightseeing. Cool. Right, let's make our way south. What I want to try now is to see how we can navigate to a specific airport. For example, if you want to go to Seattle, just go straight to Seattle. Kilo Sierra Echo Alpha. What the heck is this guy doing? Okay. That's a very sharp bank. What is that? 40-degree bank? That looks scary. But beautiful as well. So let me see. If I go here, if we go for direct, and then we can find it manually. The mod should also help with this. It's more fluid, more realistic behavior for the direct waypoints, stuff like that. There you go. Direct, enter. Yeah, it works. And then you can say go to nav mode. So that should follow the thing, I think. Shouldn't it? But I think I'll have to change the course, the HSI manually. What track should we be following? Second, let's remove that. Desired track is 180, so if I plug that in here, 180, is this one. There you go. But why are we not going that way? Am I missing something? I think we should switch to nav mode. I keep forgetting how to do that. There should be a button here. Like this one. There you go. GPS. There we go. That works. And now that also works here. So you switch from following a VOR to following the GPS. Nice. Okay. So that's all good. Set the maybe 23. Let's go 24, 24. Actually, 23 is the best I can do. Okay, let's keep it that way. Find the lean of peak. 1590, so 1540. Looks good. And there we go. Beautiful mountains of Canada. That looks so good. I'm so happy that this plane is working again. Any high mountains up ahead? No, we're good. Good. So now I think we can do some screenshotting. It will get a bit noisy though, so bear with me. Worth it. We'll have to evade some of the clouds though, because if we pass through this cloud, it's going to be problematic, mainly because of the temperature. So I think let's go back to heading mode. Let's get my track IR back. Heading, follow. Autopilot is very subtle. There you go. Right, Bunky? Yeah, same here, man. Super happy that the Mooney is back. We can make our purchase worth it again. And good to see Microsoft is really listening. It does take a bit of time for them to react because of the depth, the scale of what they need to do, but good to see that it's working. More and more. Have a safe flight. Have a safe virtual flight. Catch on Discord, man. Thanks again for the sub gifts. Yeah, the next thing that they have to fix is the autopilot. Look at how long that takes. I instructed the plane to go and get a 240 heading, more or less. And look at it. It's going there very, 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 very slowly. Yes, the Mooney is fixed. Look, I can actually press buttons now and work with the altitude and everything. Even using either the mouse wheel or I can actually click on it. So the sim is now in 1.11.7.0, I think. Something like that. Oh, that is beautiful. Man. So I've been looking for like flights that we could go on, like sightseeing tours. There was one that tours around many parts of the US, starting from Miami, I think, making way north and then westbound. Oh my goodness, it looks pretty intense. Nav mode, but I think the entire flight plan takes like 33 hours flight time, something like that. Let's go and switch tanks here. Yeah, look at how bad it is at tracking that magenta line. It's just too subtle. 116 nautical miles. We might need to refuel somewhere. We'll see. How are you, wild dog? What have you been busy with? Whoa, look at that. Okay. Might not be the... What the heck's happening? I think it's because I'm... Yeah, look at the trim. Rip. Indeed. The autopilot just decided to put the trim all the way up. Wow, that's scary. Phew. Alright, we have control again. I was just waking everybody up. Right. Oh! Wow. Whew. Whew. I have no idea. So if you look at the trim, I'll show you. That's a trim, right? The elevator trim. Look, the moment I enable the autopilot, whoop, goes full up. At least it knows how to simulate proper stall procedures. Oh my goodness, I think I'll be hand flying the rest of the way. I think I gave it too much praise. I jinxed it. Terrain. Yeah, trim goes full up, which is very weird. I wonder why. Maybe I should arm this again, 8,000 feet, so it knows what I want. And what else? Nav mode, let's go to GP heading mode for now. Let's fly manually for now. Maybe it got offended that I was complaining at its lack of autopilot authority. And then it mentioned, you think I lack authority? Get a load of this. Oh my goodness, that was scary. Okay, let's try again. So if I autopilot now... Oh, no, turn it off. Oh my goodness. Are we actually upside down? Yes, we are. Oh my goodness, you can actually fly like this? I'll show you authority. Oh, this is cool. Is the Mooney really capable of this one? Yeah, I'm stable. Look, flying level. Kind of hard to fly level, but it is kind of working. We're on stable speeds, so we can actually do like a barrel roll. Land upside down, that's the real goal. Nothing happened at all. Nothing happened, guys. Nothing happened. Everything is A-okay. Let me see. Okay, 1 second. Let's turn ourselves around. Whoa. Okay, there you go. Oh, pitch up. Get back. Alright, there it is. So where the heck are we? Okay. Turn to the right here. Get back to 8,000 feet. Down on the throttle a bit. One so thing. Now how the heck do we triggered the autopilot then? And what triggered that change? It was so weird. Hurt feelings, I guess, is what triggered that change. I have no idea. Okay, let's not go through that cloud. Don't want any icing in addition. Maybe it was icing conditions. I don't know. But no, everything looked fine. Airspeed was okay. I have no idea. Okay, 8,000, there we go. Fly properly. Let's just hand fly this thing the rest of the way. Looks like not as perfect yet, but that might be more the Asobo autopilot than the plane itself, because this plane just makes use mainly of the autopilot logic from Asobo, from Microsoft. So the bugs there have been, unfortunately, looks like they have been inherited. Flying straight. Yeah, I think it hurt me. I think it really hurt me. We hurt its feelings, guys. You know so much, you fly it yourself, basically is what it's saying. Now, as a consequence, you have to prepare for some very rocky hand flying. I wonder how I can get back to it. If I go and switch... Turn off the flight director. Should I try it again? Maybe not so close to mountains like this. When we get to more level roads, probably I can try again, but right now I don't think it's a wise decision. Let's just hand fly this until we get to somewhere more clear. Okay. Looks good. Let's keep that heading. Don't want you crashing into mountains, don't you? Why do I have a feeling some people are looking forward to it? Oh, it looks like there's some high mountains up there though. Let's have a look. Terrain. That's as far as it will go. Looks good. It's looking over the wing like that. Okay, hand flying. I don't see any mountain that could be a danger, but if you go closer like this, there are some red dots here and there. Yeah, I should be able to handle it. Good. Just glide around the peaks. Makes sense. You guys enjoy the view. I'll take care of somehow getting us across these mountains. Why don't we get a more scenic vibe here? Let's change the time. A bit more sunrise. Very cinematic vibes. Oh, I love the lighting on the dials. Let's lessen that a bit though. Oh, here we go again. This is the time to drink. Too scared to look around. I know, right? Okay, 1 second. Yeah, that's good. There we go. Getting more calm now. Is there somewhere where we can just change the lighting on the radio? That seems a bit... Oh crap! Seems icing. No. Don't want that. Stay away from them clouds. Pitot heat is the only one I have. I don't have any anti-ice. I don't have any windshield anti-ice. So we have to stay away from those clouds at all costs. Unfortunately, I see a lot of clouds up ahead, so I think what I'll do is I'll descend there under the clouds, so we're a bit safer. Keep it steady. I don't think we'll be able to shake off that ice from the windshield. It's not much though, thankfully. It's minimal at this point. Stay away from the mountains. Yeah, this gives you the idea of the proper 1:1 scale, doesn't it? But really, going from Canada to Washington, even in a plane, when you can go mostly a straight line at, I don't know, 250 miles per hour or something, still takes a lot of time. Very different from truck sim. No wonder some people are really looking for that 1:19 scale or 1:1 scale. Pitot heat, I don't think we need it anymore. Let's go with terrain view here. Yeah, that looks pretty scary on that side, so let's go straight and then turn left. Once we're clear of these mountains, let's trace this. Is this a road or a river? Or both? Looks like a river. But yeah, so we don't have to contend with mountains and clouds. We can actually go higher up, that's also an option. A bit too fast here. Outside air temperature, there we go. Getting a bit hotter. Come on. Might take a bit longer if we have to go through the rest of the way. Yeah, we have to hug the coast basically. So maybe let me try something else. There are no clouds here in the vicinity, so we can try climbing up higher instead. Go full throttle here. Just climb our way through. Not sure what the maximum altitude is for this plane. I think it can reach 20,000 feet. But you'll need to turn on your oxygen. I think it has like an oxygen somewhere. Not in the cabin, but you have to have like those hoses. So you have oxygen even though the cabin isn't pressurized. Oxygen mask or oxygen hose, whatever you call it. But we should be able to climb properly here. Get some nice speeds along the way. Almost back to CYXX. Oh yeah, you're right. Just made a U-turn. Where is it? Is it that one? Might be. Yeah, we are going south to Seattle if you can make it through. Am I climbing still? Yes, I'm still climbing. Good. Now I should be able to climb steeper at 105 knots or so. I think that's the best rate of climb. So we can probably climb at around 110 knots. Make sure that my EGT is correct. Let's go reach off peak here to get a bit more power. So yeah, this is not the plane that you would take with you when you're doing IFR flights. It is perfectly capable of doing so, like capturing the glide slope, doing approaches, but because of its lack of anti-ice capabilities, and especially this time of the year, probably not a good idea to be shooting through those clouds in such temperatures. Even though your instruments can handle it, your how do you say, your lack of anti-ice will not. Hey, Piper Hawk. Hey, nice. Glad you made it to the stream, man. How are you? Which ones do you enjoy? Flight sim, truck sim, brothers. Recently, I've been getting a lot more activity in the PC building simulator. Lots of people asking when I would resume it, which made me wonder: was there like an update? PC building simulator. I think even Squirrel streamed it recently. Oh yeah, in Fernbus, I still haven't gotten around to checking out Netherlands. Probably will check that out soon. Where are we now? 9,000 feet, okay. And climbing. Let's climb to 13,000. Might get harder and harder to breathe though. Oh, is that when you first found me? Bus Simulator 18? Cool. Did you play that a lot as well? What mountain is that, guys? Is that Mount St. Helens? Might be a bit too far for that. This is still in Canada. Let's have a look. It's, I think, Mount Baker. Is anyone familiar with it? It's pretty high, huh? Fly through nearby. Oh, Sonoma is right on point. Is that the one? Man, you're good. You like it all. Amazing stuff, man. Thank you. Great to hear. Negative 14 now outside, but because we don't have clouds, should be okay for us. Should be no risk of icing. Looked up some videos. You were in the middle of putting those out. Nice. Now you should be more than capable, huh? Have you tried it since then? Shall we try Autopilot again, guys? Are we brave enough? Flight director. Heading mode. Arm that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Everybody's seatbelts fastened? Yes? Okay, good. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, no. Okay. Scratch that. Ah. Okay. Message received. Trim. Weird. Is that still Mount Baker? Yeah, I think we're still in the right direction. Hey Alex, how are you, man? Glad you could join. Yeah, perfect timing. I was kind of picking at Autopilot a while ago, and I think it heard me, so it got a bit of revenge. And ever since then, we can't trigger Autopilot because it's just trimming up fully, taking us up to space, and then doing a nosedive afterwards. So I have been hand flying since then. I was kind of hoping we could get back to Autopilot, but looks like not. Hey, super. You guys have the perfect timing. I don't know why the Autopilot is doing that though. I don't get it. It was working well before. Hey, wait. Maybe if I turn off the elevator trim, maybe it won't be able to trim itself. Let's try again. Oh, no. Theory didn't work. You guys see this? I have a trick. I learned this when I was fiddling around a while ago. Look at that. Acrobatics with Clumsy. 1 second. Let's fly level here. Yeah. Something looks strange, and I can't quite place it. Getting too fast. Alright, let's see. How can I fly level? 1 second. Australia. Alright, let's correct ourselves here. Yeah, okay, good. Where the heck are we headed? Okay, we're definitely not on the right path here. Let's get up to 13,000 again. We're well away from the mountains now. There you go. There's Mount Baker, I believe. Snow-capped mountains and everything. Still clouds on top, that's true. Still looks good. Doing a flight from Paris to Nice. Hopefully your AP is not... Yeah, the Autopilot on the TBM is a bit more reliable, I think. I don't really get what's happening. Looks like we lost capability for our Autopilot. At least it's not crashing anymore. In here, we could just say it's a simulated failure. Okay, 13,000. Let's go and fly level here. Now we have visibility on the horizon, so if we want level flight, we should align the nose like an inch or so. We say that's an inch or so from the horizon. That would be a nice indicator that we're flying level. Because if you use that instead of relying on your instruments, you're able to manage it faster. Because the instruments have a bit of delay there. Okay, good. So let's go now and get the proper mixture setting here. The peak is 1555, so around 1500 would be the lean off peak that we want for good fuel economy. That should be good there. Maybe just a bit less. It's getting very sensitive. How are you, Alex? What have you been up to? Have you been trucking? I have been trucking lots. If you guys look at the deliveries tab in the Discord, I have been enjoying myself with the Cascadia. Just going anywhere. Switch tanks again. Love those sounds. 13,000 feet. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's go and fix that. Does it save fuel flying upside down? I think it gives you fuel back. It gives back fuel when you fly upside down. That's the theory, at least. ADCS. There should be an Amazon Gear panel if you look at the info of my stream. That should give you more idea on the specs I use. But let us know if you have some other questions. Oh, that looks beautiful, my goodness. Now how the heck do we take a screenshot with me hand flying this thing? That works for me, Mount Baker. Sunrise. Beautiful. Oh, and we're still relatively level here. Nice. Good. Everything good now? Yeah, more or less. Okay. But yeah, this plane is just so functional. I love it. Everything you need is right in front of you. You barely have to like look around to get the different info. Temperature, fuel, the flap settings, the trims, everything is here up top. So good. And it has these, what would you call these guys? Would you call that digital? I guess technically that's digital. But definitely not like the computer versions. Like a mix of both. I like the classic feel of it. Too bad we can't open the window here, otherwise we'll get a black screen. You've been trucking, nice. What truck are you going with right now? I saw lots of different trucks in the screenshots. Let's get back to 13,000 feet, 1 second. $76 miles away from Seattle. How long will that take? It says 25 minutes given our current speed. If you look at the GNS 530 there, 24 minutes. There we go, 13,000 feet. And it's getting very turbulent here. Very wobbly. Hey J Crow, how are you? Yeah, indeed. So scenic. This is the perfect plane for sightseeing like this. So you don't get bogged down with the glass panels. I don't know, there's something about the glass panels that make it less, I don't know, maybe it's too flashy, at least for me, that it takes your attention more. So you don't focus so much on the scenery outside because your eyes are glued more to the glass panels, just like how your eyes are glued to your phone the entire day. True story. Their monitors, I guess it has that vibe, as opposed to having like these old school gauges. I kind of use them more as really guidance, but mainly you're still focusing your view outside like this. That's beautiful. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in here a bit. Where are we right now? Look at the breadcrumbs, guys. Let's try and fly level here so I can let go of the yoke, at least a little bit subtly. 1 second. Get that stable. One sec, huh? setting. That should work. Just balance it, but let me show you the breadcrumbs. During our autopilot issues. That one. There's even something worse, that one. Yeah, the cases when we had autopilot problems. And I was trying hard to get it back to speed. But here we are. Making our way through. We go past Bellingham already. Yeah, Bellingham is over there. So maybe we can actually, let me see, because Seattle is over here, but I do want to trace the interstate. So let's turn to the right. Let me try and find our way through by the highways. I guess we can start descending now. I don't think it should be that hilly anymore. There you go. Hey, Blazing Monk. Yeah, indeed, definitely. Now that they fixed the Mooney, I would say it's definitely worth it for the sightseeing like this, for these purposes. It's very optimized as well. You don't have to contend with the slowdowns from the usual stuff with the glass cockpits, because there is no glass cockpit at all. And yeah, no more crash to desktop, thankfully. Canada mod for ATS, yes indeed. Thanks, Alex. Trucking schizophrenic. Looks like it based on the screenshots. Which is beneficial for all of us who are looking at the screenshots, because it is quite a sight to look at. The trucks that we normally wouldn't be able to drive, you get a chance to share it with us a bit. So that's great. I myself am stuck with a Cascadia. Loving that truck. Perfect feel on the steering wheel. Perfect physics, I would say. Looks great, looks modern enough. Very easy to drive. Good for the long haul trips. Looks great with 3080. Nice, yes, thank you. Sorry guys, a bit lagging with the replies. I should get back to speed in a bit. Yeah, the 3080 really is able to stretch its legs here, especially with this plane. Doesn't have to wait for the glass cockpit refreshes and all that stuff. Interestingly enough, OBS seems to be hogging a lot of my GPU power. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised with that, but I didn't notice it. Maybe I wasn't looking before. It seems to be consuming anywhere between 20 to 40% of my GPU. Which sounds huge, especially that this is a 3080. So the percentage that it's consuming seems significant. Wonder why. Doesn't NVENC shouldn't it not consume a lot of power? I'll have to double check that. Set up the wheel tonight. Oh yes, you'll love it. There's no destination airport. Yeah, there is no destination at all. We're going to Seattle. We'll see how far we can get. We're just flying all over the place. Started in Vancouver. Tried to trace through the Trans-Canada Highway 1. Passed through and looked at the smasher, the Coquihalla Highway. Is that what you call it? Saw how climbing it was, got scared, turned around, and then Autopilot gave us a different scare, and now we're making our way south. We've just crossed over to the US a while ago. We should have a sight of I-5 soon enough, because this straight one is Highway 20, and it should be intersecting with I-5. That's what I'm looking for. Just turned AP on. Good luck, man. Hope it works. Steady descent in here. Enjoying the views. And staying away from the clouds. Just to avoid any possible icing conditions. When is the next ATS video? There was one which released just yesterday. Did you manage to watch that? The Wolf Creek Pass? And then there's like a silent trucking video lined up, as well as a time-lapse video, all with Cascadia with JBX graphics and Frosty mod. I love that combo. Let's go into a touch and go here. I see an airport. What airport is this? This one is Skagit Regional, Kilo Bravo Victor Sierra. Runway 29 should be a nice one. Runway 29er, which has a 289er heading. Let me see. Something like this probably. Okay, let's slow down. Below 140 knots, landing gear is down. Let's wait for the indicator. There we go. Green. Get our flaps. One notch of flaps down as well. Landing lights should still be on. Taxi lights we don't need. Okay, looks good. Full RPM, mixture full as well. Sure thing, Jay. Don't forget to turn the autopilot on. Might not be the best advice. You learned to ski on Wolf Creek Pass. Oh, wow, nice. Right below 110 knots. Right, full flaps. Gumps. Gas. Should switch to the fullest tank. We are actually on the fullest tank. Undercarriage. Landing gear is extended. Mixture full. Props for full. Switches. Yeah. Landing lights are on. We are pretty high here though. So let's go to idle and just cruise along. At this rate, we should be able to also open the windows. Probably not something you'd want to do in real life, but I think it only gives you a black screen. Your plane will get destroyed if you open that at 130 knots or higher than 130 knots, something like that. Our approach speed should be at 180. Let's do a forward slip here so we can descend a bit steeper without picking up more airspeed. There you go. Looks good. Right. Ooh, that's a pretty unstable approach. There it is. 80 knots. Give me 80 knots. I'm almost at idle here, guys. This plane doesn't want to slow down. There you go. 29er. Actually, I am at idle already. Oh, floating. There you go. Yeah, it's a bit weird the way it pitches up fully. It has a very different, how do you say, landing profile. Is that how we call it? 80 knots. Right, rotate. Get brakes, gear up. Nice, love the sounds. Flaps up as well. And let's continue on. Doing good, man. Early in the day. So far so good. I was happy to hear about this news about the Mooney when I woke up. I honestly was not expecting it to be fixed that quickly. They mentioned that the fix was coming in later this week, but I was not expecting it today in time for the stream, so this is perfect. Right, let's go probably at 2,000 feet to 2,000 feet. And look for the interstate, I-5. Yeah, has a nose-up attitude even on the ground. Exactly. Makes it more challenging. Harder to see the runway and where you are at. So you really have to look at the side here. Like the side here and here. How close you are to the runway because you can't see anything in front. Sick. 2,000 feet, that's good. Slow down here. 2400 RPM. 2300 I think should work. And the look of that sun right in front of us, huh? The reflections, beautiful throughout the anchor. Too much nose-up attitude. Most of the planes I've flown don't have it like that. It depends on your approach, but this one definitely has that feel, that vibe. And it's just silky smooth though, isn't it? So nice. And this is a super fast plane. Let's get to 2,000 feet. Let's descend a bit here. And then I'll get my mixture correctly. There you go. Peak is 1570. So 1520, 1530. Yeah, perfect. That's the one I want. Alright. So let's go look for I-5, guys. Should be right in front of us. I think it's this one. Yeah, right there. You can also trace the river actually. Although the river kind of drops off after a while, so not the best indicator, I guess. We could also try flying at night just to see how it looks at night. I think they also improved the night. They also improved the night lighting. That worked. There you go. Now we can really see where the interstate is. Even so, you see the beautiful skies there. Oh, landing lights you don't need. Yeah, this is one of the main problems in this plane though. You don't see the switches at all above. 1 second, guys. If I can try and find it. There you go, floodlights. You still can't see anything from there. I think I'll need my flashlight. Is it Alt L? What's that? I don't know, probably triggering some lights. Okay. But I think it turned off my lights now. Okay. Chuck Yeager. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Sad news. He sounds like a very... Yeah, what was he known for again? His name sounds so familiar. So when I saw his name in the social media feeds, I was like, oh my goodness, I know this. This is a very significant figure, but I can't quite remember. There's no on-air thunder on or VATSIM. What do you mean, Deso? First man to fly faster than the speed of sound. Oh my goodness, yeah. 1947. Broke the sound barrier. What was he flying? He was a test pilot, was he? I think that's what I saw. Yeah, his name sounds so familiar for some reason. The night lighting here. That would give you perfect night vision at level. Nothing too bright except the GPS. Bell X1 experimental plane. Man, that's a shame. How old was he? Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream and hope you're enjoying the view. So let's see, yeah, we are tracing I-5 here. Seattle should be, well, should be pretty okay. Airspeed-wise, we're doing 167 knots on the ground. It's not bad. What does that translate to? 200 miles per hour? A straight line. Much better than a vehicle for sure. But yeah, I would prefer flying in daytime if possible. So let's switch back to that. Straight. We might get hanging in here again though. 3,000 feet. Yeah, that should be okay, right? Let's climb to 3,000. Yeah, there we go. Hanged again. Let's wait for a few seconds. When you move the time forward, it's okay, but when you move the time back, that's when the hang starts. Gets triggered. Level a bit. There you go. Man, I love the subtle graphical details that the sim includes, like the reflections on the hood there. You see the clouds actually reflecting off of it. This looks so nice. Shall we try the autopilot? No, maybe not. I think we've given it too many chances already. Check 1560, 1510. Be the lean of peak. We're looking for 50 degrees Fahrenheit lean of peak. Is what it says in the manual. Actually, it says rich of peak there, but I think lean of peak also works when you're on cruise. It's lovely. 15 minutes away from Seattle. Let's go and look around the city when we get there. Everett actually should be coming into view. Maybe we can see the Boeing factory. Isn't that where it is? If I remember what you guys have taught me. If I remember what ATS has shown us. That should be a nice view. '97, also World War II vet. Sounds like he lived a very full life. Right Stuff shows him breaking the sound barrier in the first flights into space. Wow. Right Stuff is the name. Thanks. Have a look. Degrees outside. Is that realistic? I guess close enough. Cool, thanks. There is an airport right there up ahead. I see the blinking. That I think is a different one though. I don't even know how to read that. Snohomish County? Okay. I'm probably skipping through that. Let's go straight to Seattle. Pass through Everett here. Would be so nice if I can have autopilot just to have a proper level flight here. Then again, maybe we trim it better so I can leave it as is for a bit. Is pitching up just a little, very subtly. Oh, there it is, Everett. Okay, let's zoom in and let's find the Boeing factory somewhere. This is the right place. If I remember correctly, that is to the west of the interstate. I'm expecting it should be a humongous building. Hey, sci-fi. We just did twice a while ago. Not intentionally, but the autopilot was trolling us. Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Perfect. Let's get a bit more light here. Okay, it would be nice if we're spotting buildings to have better visibility. Right. Thoughts. Things loading in. Getting a bit laggy. I can't see the factory from here, even from the map. Kamikaze crash. Am I looking at the right place, guys? Everett Mall, maybe it's more humongous than I anticipated. I can't see it. See it if we see it. Hopefully it'll have a marker in there, but I have my doubts. Yeah, we are over Everett, supposedly. How big is Everett? That's a spaghetti junction right there. That should be the junction between I-5 and some other US routes, I think. Some other federal highways. Nonetheless, we should keep going south on our way to Seattle. Well, maybe we'll see a building, a huge building later. How about that one? Is it that one? does look pretty promising. 1 second. The Boeing factory is south of Everett and a bit west. South of Everett, that's good. And a bit west. Let's head to the west here. And we get down to 3,000 feet again. Bainfield Airport. There's an airport right beside it. Guess that makes sense, huh? That's Seattle already. That's the junction between I-405 and I-5. Looks like. Missed it. I'm way past Everett now. Yeah, I think we passed it. Oh, that's so bad. I would have expected it to be like shown immediately in the map. Oh well. Okay, let's continue looking. Maybe we get lucky. Let's trace through the highway. Some huge clouds here. Maybe let's go down to 2,000 again. I think that's safer in terms of getting clear of clouds. We should at least be able to see when we get to Seattle, aside from the airport. What do you call that again? The Space Needle? If you go to the city itself. That might have been there already before, I think, right? From the beginning of the sim. And not really part of the world update that came out 2 weeks ago. But still, that should be good. It says 20 miles away from Seattle. SeaTac, I think what you call it. SeaTac Airport? Does that sound about right? Oh, wait a minute. I'm seeing a Boeing Kingco International. But that's too close to Seattle. I think that could be it. This one. So we're right here. Where are we? Right there. Tracing I-5 south. And SeaTac is here. But there is also this airport right here. Yeah, I don't have the factory in sight anywhere. I think we passed it because Everett is right here. And if it's a bit to the southwest, then it might be somewhere here, which we passed. Okay. Should be okay. Descent to 2,000. Zoom in a bit here so we get more visibility. Looking good. Yeah, we should be actually seeing Seattle itself first before we get to the airport. There's the Space Needle. Cool. Let's get up close and personal. I wonder how high that is. Let's see. Let's descend to around, I don't know, 1,000 feet. Let's get close. However low that takes. I see it in front. And the rest of the city at that. Where are we? There, okay, good. 605 feet tall. Thank you. And that means we should get pretty low if we want to get up close and personal. Might be a bit scary. But maybe we can use our speed brakes right there. That should slow us down significantly. Should allow us to maybe lower our landing gear. Get one notch of flaps down. And let's retract that. Just so we can go slower. Go lower. What is that thing jutting out though? It seems more like a bug to me. Yeah, that doesn't look like it should be there. It's even higher than the Space Needle. It is. Let's remove the tooltips for now, so we can get it a nice view of it. Let's fly over it and then let's take a photo. Alright, have a good night, Sonoma. Thanks for the tour. Thanks for being the tour guide. There it is. Beautiful. Very nice. Have to pause here in a bit. Does that work? We'll see. Doesn't look as nice because I have my landing gear down. That's nice. So easy. Nice. 1962 road. It's fair. Wow, look at the high quality there even for this close. Super cool looking. So nice. It's hard to take a photo with a mic in front. Oh, that's cool. Alright. How are we doing? Good. Okay. Alright. Now don't crash into those buildings, please. Gear up. Flaps up. Close to your home, Harvey. Say hi, wave for us. Maybe we can see you. Oh, 1 second, guys. Huh? Oh, that's okay. There's someone calling. Seattle looks great. Oh wow. You guys familiar with these? Is that the one that we're looking over when we're passing through ATS? So cool. Go Hawks. cities by the skyscrapers. Yeah, I know, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that junction. This is very well done. My goodness. Let's not climb any higher than that. Good. Very nice, I like it. So yeah, next week we can probably continue exploring the west coast, going southbound past Oregon back to California. I think there's plenty of custom new points of interest they made for California. That might be cool. Now where's the airport? Should be up ahead. Should be intercepting the ILS frequencies actually. So let me just keep this altitude. Just fly over it and we'll join the pattern and land. And we'll explore it for a bit. I'm not sure if... I think SeaTac is one of the custom made ones. As part of the Premium Deluxe maybe? I can never remember. But we'll see how it looks. If it looks one of like the generic airports. Or if it has that handmade vibe to it. Yay! Yay! Hey bot, how are you? Seahawk Stadium, it's called the Clink. Ah, good to know. Any particular reason why that's the name? There it is. Very nice. You can definitely distinguish it from way back here. Doing alright. Have you been doing a lot of trucking as well? Speed up a bit. SeaTac should be right up ahead. Yeah, I see the approach lights already. Do you guys see those ones? How many runways? I think 3 runways. All with the same orientation. Got the load into Canada. Nice. Where did you deliver to in Canada? Which city? That's the other airport. The Boeing Kinko International thingy. No idea what that is. It has Boeing in it. British Columbia. Might be biased, but you love trucking, flying in your home state. That's great. Love your own, right? Makes a lot of sense. Starting to love Canada. It is pretty close. Can you fly faster? That is the edge of it. At least for this plane. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, sci-fi. It's great to hear, Super. Yeah, I'm loving driving over Canada, especially with the winter mod now. There's a silent trucking video coming out later, or not later, I think tomorrow. Might be later. Yeah, I'll have to double check. Where we drive in Canada, but with snow and with JBX. The new JBX update I really like. It is much more natural to the eyes. There's still an Instagram filter with the JBX graphics, but much less than before. Something I can definitely live with. So for now, I have moved to JBX. And I noticed that I don't get any stutters at all when I use JBX compared to when I use NL. Because I guess the skyboxes are smaller. And the launch parameters I use are more optimal for the smaller skyboxes. SeaTac. Our landing gear flaps just fly over the buildings for a bit. Still look at it from above. San Francisco update is in the works. Oh, nice. Is that by Team Reforma or by SES? Oh yeah, this definitely looks custom. Yeah, the gates here, the terminals definitely look different. Not your typical auto-generated airports. You work by both. Whoever finishes first wins. Yeah, that looks nice. Let's join the downwind leg here. Getting pretty slow here though. Can land on that runway nearer to the terminals. It's a very long runway though. How long is it? I don't know, 12,000 feet? Let's have a look. Yeah, almost 12,000 feet in length. It's getting a bit laggy here though. All of a sudden. Let's see who does better. Oh yeah. Has SES confirmed that they are also working on San Francisco? I wonder why Team Reform also decided to do the same area. Supposedly it has been mentioned. Yeah, before I would have easily said Team Reforma would definitely be the winner there. But nowadays, especially with Colorado in the game, it's going to be challenging to decide who will do a better job. Turn on the landing lights here. Why are all my lights off? Probably that's the button I was tweaking a while ago. Okay, let's do a proper approach. But I think I will be more in line with this middle runway, so let's go and line up with that one instead. Flaps are full. Gas should be on the right side. Undercarriage, yeah, we have the gear. We're pretty low here. Not the best approach. There you go. Wow, that's wobbly. What are the winds like? Winds are coming a bit from the left, I think. No, from the right. Oh, floating a bit. Even if I try to butter it as hard as I can, it still gives me that like harder than I expected landing. But that's okay. Made it in one piece. Definitely have to practice with the... Whoa! Humps? Speed bump? What the heck was that? Oh crap, let's get off this runway. It doesn't look stable. Run over it. Yeah, something definitely squealed. I thought it was my brakes, but maybe not. Okay, let's turn off here on the left. I'm actually wondering where's the flaps button. Because I can hear it, I can use my buttons for it, but where is it in the plane? Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, probably. Maybe let's line up on the proper taxiway here. Turn that off. Crossing the runway. Oh, the runway looks much better from up close like this one. Let's have a look at the proper terminal. Yeah, definitely is custom made, huh? Very nice. Hey, Lucy. How's the trucking going? How's the modding? Painted grills and stuff. Looks super cool. Good job on that. Okay, where can we park? Should be somewhere here. We can turn off. But yeah, the taxiing here on this plane, very nice. You can really control it with your rudder pedals. You hear that squeaking all over the place. Why not? We might have to end the stream a bit earlier today, guys. Looks like we arrived a bit ahead of time. But we'll catch each other again on Friday for some trucking. We'll probably go explore ATS again with snow, or we can do a test convoy depending on what you guys prefer. We'll see. Alright, turn off the lights here. Avionics is off. Oh, I should have opened my window as soon as we landed. That would have given some nice sounds with the engine. Very nice plane. So if you're into like visual flying, highly recommend this one now that it's been fixed finally. It was a long wait, but thankfully it got fixed. I'm happy. Yeah, good job on that, Lucy. I missed the autopilot. Same with me. I wonder. I'll keep looking at the forum on any similar incidents. Otherwise, it might have been just me. I bet it will work now. This is the Mooney 20R Ovation by Carinado. Been fixed just a few hours ago by the recent patch in Flight Sim. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Catch you again in 2 days. In the meantime, catch you on Discord. Sorry we're ending a bit early. Yeah, glad to have arrived in one piece despite the autopilot trying to kill us often. Have a good day, guys. Thanks Jay and Alex for moderating. Thanks everyone for joining and for hanging out. Catch you on Friday. Clumsy flying, clumsy trucking soon. Bye. Have a great day. Yeah. Yes. Had a great flight. Catch you soon, Lucy.